Okay, interview with Bruno Kovarik from Hypnos, second part. Um, Before we continue, today we have learned the past away of Les Binks from Judas Priest. Uh, was it an influence for you or not?
The best thing is always the sad thing. It's a tragedy. It's hard to comment on it, and especially if it's the person uh, you know personally, or if it's the person who had some influence on you. Uh, I probably never was such a big fan of Judas Priest before. Anyway, I love the albums as the British Steels, and especially Defenders of the Faith, which is my most favorite Judas Priest album. Um, it's a tragedy. I see it today over the media that many people was remembering the guy, and then many people was sad about it. What else to say? Sad passing.
Hmm? Okay. So, um, with Cremator, we are in 1991. Um, about the name of the band, uh, uh, the spelling of Cremator changes with a H after the T at this period.
Yeah,
Do you explain why? Can you explain why?
yeah, because it was better looking when it was written with H. It was looking like famous, or I don't know how to say it. And also, we wanted to demonstrate that when we returned from the military service, that we want to play more extreme metal, that we want to turn a bit more to the death metal. So it was the symbol for a, a little style change as well, because the first demos were thrash metal. And we really wanted to play death metal because we were amazed by the bands like Death, Entombed, Obituary, Decide, Pestilence, and so the death metal wave was really strong at the time, and we were lost in it.
Hmm? Okay. Um, so, a first album, Only Our Death is Welcome, is released in 1992. On the Hypnos YouTube channel, you posted several Creators records, but not this one, just a video of pacifistic death. Can you explain why?
Why it's not on the YouTube channel, or where you mean?
YouTube channel, yes. Your own, the Hypnos YouTube channel.
Uh, because at the time we didn't have too much video recordings, and the video clip was probably the only one we have from the time. Anyway, this is the Hypnos channel. Yes, I was a member of Krabator, but I don't want to make the Hypnos channel a Krabator channel. I publish there from time to time some important and interesting videos from the Krabator career as well, because it was part of my past and my work. But anyway, this channel is mainly dedicated to Hypnos and to work and songs and videos of Hypnos. This is simple reason.
Okay. So 1993, Cool Mortification, the second album. I think this one is my favorite because it's most various and technical, and it has this old school sound that I like. Do you agree with that?
Depends, we say thousand people, thousand tastes. Everybody can feel it different way, and of course, every album the musician is doing in his career, he is doing with the feel that it's the best album he ever did, and it was the same with us. We wrote this album believing that it's gonna be step forward from the first album, but our second guitarist and drummer were a lot into thrash metal. And I mean that the influence of these two members can be heard on the album. And me and Christopher were, in the end, not 100% satisfied with the final sounding of the album, because it sounded a bit softer compared to the first album or compared to the music we wanted to do. It was a bit too soft for us. Yeah, we like it till now, and many people say, as you are saying, that this is the best album from Krabator for them, and I believe it to them, and I like it. But anyway, we wanted to play more extreme music than Cool Mortification in the end was. It's like mix of death thrash metal, and we really wanted to play more extreme death metal.
Okay. From this album, on the pics inside, we can see you with all your hairs hiding your face. Was you ashamed by your appearance?
You mean hair over the face?
Yes, yes.
It was Christopher, not me. I have
Oh,
only half of the face, and Christopher had the full face. You know,
okay.
it was kind of image. You know, we had a lot of hair, and we wanted to sell it that we are hairy men, and it was looking brutal. You know, we were just 10 metal guys, and we, of course, we admired bands, as I said, Obituary, Morbid Angel, Pestilence, and Death, and so on. And they were looking so extreme, and we wanted to look the same way. You know? So that's why. No kind of shame. Don't worry.
um, 1994 and the release of Night Terror, a live video, marked the entrance of Pegas on drums. Can you tell us about that?
It was actually in the end of period with Pegas. Pegas was a drummer who came to the band after second album. Because me and Christopher, we had a really serious disagreements with the old guitarist and drummer, and they decided to leave. So we lost drummer and guitarist, and we were afraid to have two new members because we were playing a lot of shows. We were spending a lot of time in rehearsal room, in the studio, and we were afraid to risk two new personalities in the band. We were afraid of personal problems between fights and so. So we decided to find just the drummer, to have one new members, because we said one new member, less problems than two new members. And we found Pegas. And the Pegas was really death metal guy. He loved D-Side, he loved Pestilence, as I said, and all true death metal bands, and he was playing blast beats. So we were so happy with him when he joined the band, and we recorded 3 new songs with Pegas that were released later as a Rise of Brutality EP. And unfortunately, Pegas stayed only 1 year with us. And by the end of this 1 year with Pegas, we recorded the video, as you are telling now, The Night of Terror. And recently, I saw the short shot from this video, and I was really surprised after many years how extreme this show looks like. We started first tone. We started first track with the first tone, and we just bang in the hands from the beginning. And in the end of the show, there's like 20 or 30 people on the stage banging with us. This was really extreme performance and really period of our band, which was bringing us to stronger position. Really, it can be seen on the video. Unfortunately, as I said, Pegas left shortly after that, and we got new troubles. But anyway, we couldn't be stopped. We just were decided to have a band which brings music to many people and become well known, and we were decided to do anything for it.
Okay. So you began to ask for the next question. 1995, the EP, The Rise of Brutality, then the album Rise, with the drastic change in your sound, more brutal, almost black metal. But on the album, was it still Pegasus on drums or not?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, okay.
on the Lies album, yes, on the Lies albums, the drummer is still Pegas, but
Yeah.
at the time when we recorded this album, he was not a member of the band, and because of the reason we didn't have a new drummer at the time, and Pegas, he knew the songs we prepared for the album. We asked him to record the songs on drums for us, and he decided to do it. So he is not on the picture in the album. There's just Christopher and me, but Pegas is written as a session member on drums.
Okay.
But on the Rise of Brutality EP and Lies album, it's the same drummer. It's Pegas. But shortly after the Lies album was released, we found a new drummer, Skull, and we continued with Skull for next years. I stayed the next 4 years with him, and he stayed 3 years after that.
Okay. So you wrote several lyrics for the band, and I have a question about those of the truth about lies. Did you think about a particular person or not?
Not really, not really, but it was in the time when Kravator started to be more popular, and we got a new fans, but in the same time we were getting new enemies, people who didn't like us, people who just had a reason to hate us, to feel us as a competition, maybe, or I don't know. I don't know actually which was the real reasons for them as amongst the people. Sometimes people don't like each other. Sometimes people hate each other. It's normal. So yeah, we were getting more popular, more well known, and as we get a new fans, we get these people, and we are quite frustrated by that fact because we were thinking we are doing good. We are trying to do the music can. It brings happiness to many people, and we don't understand why there are some people who hate us, who are slandering behind our backs, who are just talking shit about us, and I was frustrated about it. So lyrics, it's one of the things that we could express these feels we had inside. But anyway, if you go back in the history of Probator, the titles as the feelings of detronization, title as Only Our Dead is Welcome, or Truth About Lies, these lyrics all talks about the same thing, about the people who didn't like us and who were behaving unfriendly to us.
Okay. It also seems that a lot of your lyrics are against religion. What is your point of view on this subject, and what are your own beliefs?
Since I was a little kid, I remember I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, I was this believer. My grandma was telling me the stories from the Bible, and I loved my grandma. And I was listening to these stories from the Bible as a fairy tale. For me, it was a fairy tale. I didn't believe in it, but it was nice to me, and I liked it. But anyway, I didn't believe since I was a little kid. And I remember when I was the first class on elementary school, the part of the class, you schoolmates, were going to church to have lessons with a priest. And I was fighting with them. I was fighting with them, talking that there is no God, that the religion is nonsense. And they were telling me, no, you are just a blasphemer. The God is, and God can hear you, and he will punish you, and so on. And I remember I was asking my teacher once in school, hey, teacher, please, come on. This is my mate, this guy called Mirek. He's telling me that there is a God. I'm telling that there is no God. Please, how it is? And she said, Mirek, there is no God. Bruno is right. So it was victory for me. And I even remember when I was a little kid and I was falling asleep in my bed in the evening. I was trying to find some proof of God's not existence.
Yeah.
And I was whispering in my bed silently, the God is an asshole. God is an asshole. And waiting what's happening. Nothing happened. Nothing ever happened. So this kind of feel goes with me through my whole life. I can understand that religious beliefs helps some people to go over some hard lifetimes. Yes, I can say that I believe that beliefs generally, not only religious beliefs, but any kind of belief supports your psychic, supports you as a person to go through the hard times in life. No doubts about it. But I personally say that there is no reason for religious beliefs. There is no reason to say the stories from the Bible as a truth. Let's talk about them as a fairy tales, but not the truth. And when you are a kid, I can understand that little kids beliefs some dragons and witches and so on. They believe the Bible. But when you get older, when you get some sense into your head, and you can see what's real and what's not. And from the time I really become to be strong atheist, I'm not Satanist. I'm nothing like to fight the believers or so on. But I really say that people should believe in real things. People should believe in this, for example. This is my daughter. This is my belief,
Hello?
But I'm not believing into God. And if I believe in real things, it supports me as well. I believe in these hands. I believe in my head. I believe in the real things. I believe in love. I'm believing that my wife is loving me and I love her. But people should be focused on the real things that supports beliefs, but they should leave religion because, in my opinion, religions are from the past. They came from the past when the people couldn't name the reason for some happenings in the world, in the nature, and so on. They were scary, so they started to say, yes, there is some God who is doing all these things. But this nonsense survived till now and brings the chaos into head to many people. And beside it, there is really astronomical financial side effect, extreme financial profit to some groups of people who parasites on the beliefs of other people. So this is my fight. This is why I'm wearing upside down cross from the time I was 15 years old. This is the time. This is the reason why I fight religion. I do not offend. I don't want to offend people, but I just want to say I'm atheist. I'm non-believer, and I proclaim to go through the mind, not through the beliefs that there is something. God is an asshole, and what's happening?
Okay.
Nothing happens.
I try to show you.
Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
She's shy.
Yeah. I try to you my belief. It makes the full since the debut of the interview.
The cat.
The dog.
Is it a cat? A dog.
The dog.
I saw 10 minutes ago. he was walking by. I
Yes,
saw
yes.
a little part, and I was thinking it's a cat.
He's a
It's a German dog. It's a
um,
German sheepdog.
not German, Belgian,
Belgian.
Belgian.
Belgian sheepdog. Yeah.
Hey,
What's his name?
Saxon,
Saxon.
Saxon,
Like the band.
like the band.
Like the band.
So quiet. Okay, so 1997, you released Mortal Memories. If I understand well, this is two new songs with and three new versions of the 1988 demos. Did you recorded them again, or is it just a new mix?
No, they are completely recorded again because our first demos, they were recorded on the tape recorder, small tape recorder on the stage in our rehearsal room. We rehearsed at the time, and they really play badly. So we were thinking that these songs are good enough to be recorded again and to be presented to our fans. So we went to the studio. We wanted to test new drummer, Skull, because it was first studio experience of Cravator with Skull. And we just wrote two new songs, and we wanted to make a remix of three demo songs, what we did. And that's why we called this EP as Immortal Memories, as a memories on the past, as a memory on the demo times. And actually, few years ago, we recorded the rest of these songs, most of the rest from these songs, and we recorded the album Demonizer. Probably it's one of the questions you have for me prepared.
Okay. So 1998, Orthodox is released. It seems the style changed again. It's still a mixture between trash and death metal, but I hear sometimes a groovy side. How did you approach the composition of this album?
Uh, the Orthodox album is a natural connection of our thoughts, of our musical abilities, of our skills on instruments and so on. We had a new drummer. The Skull was not as fast as Pegas was, but he was heavier. He had a really strong punch on the drums. So it reflects the album reflects as we were at the time. And I must say that Orthodox album is less technical than Lies, but more brutal, more punchy. There on the Orthodox, there is really strong part for bass guitar. There is really on the same level as a guitar because we are three pieces band only. We didn't have a second guitar. We had just guitar and bass. And therefore, I wanted to have the bass on the same level as guitar. And I mean that the bass guitar is one of the aspects that makes Orthodox album so brutal. And many people is mentioning this fact about the bass guitar. And if I listen to that album, I say, well, this was so good that Christopher let me play the bass guitar so loud on this album. So I'm thankful to him because at the time it was not too normal to have a bass player so loud on the album. The bass was mostly really low, and sometimes you really had to listen carefully to hear the bass. Not speaking about Justice for All album from Metallica. There is no bass at all on that album.
Okay. So for this album, you wrote the lyrics of "Shit Comes Brown," and I love the poetic ways that you talk about neo-Nazi. Where does this romanticism?
You know, at the time, I was really extreme man thinking. I was vegetarian. I was against communism. I was against fascism. I was really radical in these things. And I really hated fascists and neo-fascists, because I still think this is very dangerous movement amongst people, and an useless movement. And also the song is the only one on the album. It's very short, and I wanted to write close to grindcore style, more or less. So that's why I decided to write song Shit Comes Brown with extreme social criticism in lyrics and musically close to the grindcore. That was me. Shit Comes Brown is a picture of Bruno in '98. I was a really radical guy.
Okay. So you then quit Creator in 1999 and formed Hypnos with Pegas. Can you explain us this departure?
It's a really question that is frequently
Yes.
when I frequently asked about. There was the period in Krabator. We just were not too good friends anymore with Christopher as the second main guy, and I felt there is kind of competition between us because we just wanted to do things better than the other one, and we couldn't join our powers to reach the goals we just had. And some things in the background changed, especially from Christopher's side on his view on the music and the future of the band, and also financial background of the band. I'm not sure if I'm absolutely clear with that, but anyway, I didn't feel comfortable in the band anymore, and I was like, I just don't want to play with the band in that atmosphere. Yeah, it's famous band at the time. It's a good band, but I don't feel comfortable. We even didn't say hi each other, and I just lost the meaning to stay in that band. And I just wanted to have a band with friends, to hang out together, to drink together, to laugh together, just to have a same goal and do all guys in the band do the same to reach the goals. So I decided to leave, and I have to say it was good for Krabator and it was good for me, because Krabator was joined by Paul Speckman after that from Master, and they recorded the two albums, but they lost the power. I mean, the Christopher lost the power to be the strong guy leading the band to some future. And I started with Pegas on drums, ex-Krabator drummer. We recorded the first album in Blood We Trust. We had the same label, Morbid Records in Germany, so it means same distribution. And also we had the same manager. So the manager, Pedro, who was in Krabator for many years doing incredible work, he decided to work for Krabator and for Hypnos as well. So it was really good surprise for me, and I was happy about it. So it was a strange start because the first season we played many festivals together with Krabator. We are meeting each other in the backstage, just changing on the stage, and the Pedro had one for transit van, and where we had a gear together, so we had to meet. Even we didn't like each other that much, so there were strange times. But I was really like hungry wolf. I just wanted to go forward. I just wanted to go good at metal and to move the band, to push the band forward. But the Krabator were losing the powers, and they split up after maybe 3 years. And Hypnos was continuing.
Okay. And you talked about competition between Christopher and you. Do you think the bass, the strong bass, was a problem for you, for him?
No,
No.
no at all. No, at all. it was problem with our egos, probably. We just
Okay.
wanted to be both, I don't know how to say that, the kind of jealousy each other, or I don't think, I don't know. I don't know. It was, I must say, it was only personal side. The main reason was the personal side. Just we 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 were not friends anymore, and this is bad point as you stop to be a friend. And also as I told you, we had different look on the future, how to do the business, how to do the background of the band. And me and Pedro, we were still following the goals we had since the beginning. So we had the same line. But Christopher changed himself, he changed his opinions. He wanted to do things different way. Maybe that time needed the change. Maybe we needed to risk and to do the things newly. I don't know. But for me, it was unacceptable that I just couldn't get through that. And for me, it was better to leave the band, to quit Kravator and start with a new band.
Okay. So before we talk about Hypnos, what do you think about the two albums with Paul Speckman?
They are not so bad.
Hmm?
People people do not like them that much as the previous albums. They are different. They sounds different. But when they were released, I just wanted to look like the guy who is not the enemy of them. I just wanted to look like the guy who is trying to find the positive things on that. So I was listening them really carefully many times, and I was like, "Hey, this is not bad riff. Hey, this is not a bad idea, not bad text." But actually, in general, I didn't like these albums that much. I don't listen them today even that much. And I mean that I like the project album Martyr. It was Skull, Christopher, and Paul Speckman, but it was project even before the first Kravator album with Paul. And this was like kind death metal rock and roll, which I liked more or less. But maybe it's because it was not Kravator. I don't know. Maybe something in the head. And I mean, the problem with the first Kravator album with Paul, unfortunately, that is that they wanted to do it the same way as we're doing the things with me. So it means combined vocals, the bass guitar, and so on. But they changed the studio. I mean, the album doesn't sound as good as the Orthodox. And the people, the fans, didn't accept the Paul as replacing for myself. He was looking different. He was singing differently. He was sounding differently, you know. And it was really so big change for them that most of them they couldn't accept it. Even that Paul was doing his best, even that Christopher was doing his best, but the scene just didn't accept it much. And on the second Kravator album with Paul, This Way Truth, uh, they realized some mistakes, and Paul was not singing anymore on that album. So only Christopher is singing there. So the album is looking a bit more like Kravator should look like. But anyway, it was in the time what this band didn't have a power to push forward as they needed to push, and they really started to move in the vicious circle, and they it it resulted in breakdown. Mhm. They had no powers to continue. So so to say that in general, I have the albums, all three albums, Martyr and two Crowther albums with Paul. I have it in my collection. I will never give it to anyone. I will keep them forever till I die. I will listen to them from time to time just to know how Travator was sounding at the time. And I just don't want to say nothing against these albums, but they didn't have uh, as good feedback from their fans and scene as they expected, unfortunately.
Okay. We arrived at the end of this second session. I suggest a little cut and I send you a new link in 5 minutes.
No problem.
Okay. Okay.
Just have a break.